Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Aisha Nazir, and the topic of today's lecture is defining member functions, where we can define member function inside the class definition or outside the class definition. If we define inside the class definition, then how we can access the member functions? And if we define outside the class definition, then how we can access these member functions. And the second topic of today's lecture is access specifiers. As we have discussed in the previous lectures, there are basically three access specifiers: private, public, and protected. Now we will see all these three access specifiers in detail. So, defining member functions. There are basically two ways to define member functions. Number one is inside the class definition, and number two is outside the class definition. Member functions are basically the functions which have their declaration inside the class definition and works on the data members of the class. Up till now, we declare all the member functions inside the class definition, and we simply access them through the objects, right? But now, if we don't want to define the member functions inside the class definition, then what we will do and how we will access with it. So the definition of member functions can be inside or outside the definition of class. If the member functions is defined inside the class definition, then it can be definitely directly accessed through the object. But if it's defined outside the class, then we have to use the scope resolution operator along with the class name, along with the function name. Now, what is the scope resolution? The scope resolution operators are basically used for several reasons. For example, if the global variable name is same as the local variable, then we will use the scope resolution operator. As the name defines that, it defines the scope, right? If we want to access the global variables, then we use the scope resolution operator. If there is a conflict of name between the global variable and the local variable, to define that which variable we calling, we use the scope resolution operator. It is also used to define a function outside the class. So let's see the both uses of scope resolution operator in the code block editor. So the first scenario of using the scope resolution is when we differentiate between the local variable and the global variables. So what are the global variables? Basically, when we define some variables outside the main, outside the class, so this is called as global variable, right? So let's define the global variable. Char a is equal to m. Sorry. This is the global variables. If we define the same variable inside the main function, then how the compiler will know that which a is value we are calling. So to differentiate between the local variable and the global variable, we use the scope resolution. We write here as global variable, and here is local variable. Again, if any variable defined outside the main, outside the class, then it's a global variable. And if we define a variable inside the main, then it's a local variable. So if x is a, then how the compiler will got to know that which a is calling? So if we write here as a, now here the compiler will confuse, are we calling this a, which is a local variable, or we calling this a, which is a global variable? I think we should change the value inside is capital and small, so that you got to know. So let's compile it. So here is the results. As you can see, it gives the small m. By default, compiler calls the local variables because it's in its scope. So what if we want to access the global variable? So then we have to use the scope resolution operator. So let's do it. We can use the scope resolution operator over here. This is the scope resolution operator. For the easiness, we do one thing more. We write as local variable, and here is again insertion operator and spaces. So we will give a lot of spaces, and then again insertion operator. We do the same thing with the global variable so that it is easy to read and understand. And again, here is insertion operator, and we will pass some spaces. It increases the readability. And now let's compile it. So here is the result. As you can see, local variable small m and global variable capital M. So in this way, we use the scope resolution operator to access the local variable and global variables. The second scenario of using the scope resolution operator is when we are accessing the member functions that we define the outside the class definition, right? So let's code it. So here we are. So let's first define the member function. So for this, we first have to define a class. So let's define the class as class cube, and this is the class. Okay, this is the class definition, right? This, the whole class is known as the class definition, and inside it has the body, right? So first we will use the public specifier, and then inside we define a variable at side, int. That's the return type of its integer, and the side is the variable name, right? This is the variable. Okay, that is the data member. Next we will define a function. Like we define a function int, which return types is int, integer, get volume. It will return us the volume of cube, right? So if we define the function inside the class as we defined here inside the class, then we do not need to declare it first. We can directly define the function. Here we define the function declaration. This is only the your function declaration. Function declaration. So if we are defining the function inside the class, then we can directly define the function. Function declaration is not necessary. Let's give the body to the function as we will simply return side multiplied by side. This will return the volume of the cube. So this is the class. So in short, we define the class, and in the class we define a variable, that is the local variable, and we define the function. We not only define the function, we also define the body of the function inside the main class. So here we simply create the object of the class like cube C1. This is the object, and we pass the value as we have earlier did this. C1 dot side is the variable name, and we pass the value as suppose 4, and then we call the function as cout volume of cube is, and then insertion operator, and then we call the function as C1 dot get volume. That is the function, right? And if we compile this, the results are, here is the result. Volume of cube is 64. So let's have a quick recap. We define the class, and in the class we define the public access specifier, and then we simply define a data member, a variable, and then we define the function directly in the class, and then simply we access it through the object. We created the object and passed the value 4, and then we print the result. But if we plan to define the member function outside the class definition, then we must declare the function inside class definition and then define it outside. How we will do it? All the rest things will be same. We just have to define only the member function over here, and we have to remove the body from here and put it outside the class definition. This is the class declaration that we define inside the class. So now we have to define the body outside the class. The definition of the body would be outside the class. So first we have to define int, and then what is the class name? Class name is cube, and then scope resolution operator, and then simply define the name, that is get volume, right? So in this way we can define the function anywhere outside the class. So this is the function definition, and this is the function declaration, that is inside the class. This is the function definition, so we will comment it over here as function definition. The main function for both the function definitions will be same. Inside main we will create object of class and will call the member functions using the dot operator. So let's compile it. So let's run it. So here is the output. The output is same, as you can see that. The volume of cube is 64. So let's sum up. Method functions of a class can be defined either outside the class definition or inside the class definition. In both the cases, the function body remains the same. However, the function header is different. As you can see that in this example, only the function header is different, while the function body remains same. Defining a member function outside a class requires the function declaration, function prototype to be provided inside the class definition. As you can see that we define the function declaration inside the class, while we define the function definition outside the class. We can define it anywhere outside the class. But why? Why we declare the function inside? The member function is declared inside the class like a normal function. This declaration informs the compiler that the function is a member of the class and that it has been defined outside the class. So the compiler got to know that if the function is declared inside the class, so it means the body, the definition of that function must be somewhere outside the class. So when we call that function, then it directly calls from the declaration to the definition of the function. So after a function definition is declared inside the class, it must be defined outside the class. As we did there, we define the function declaration inside the class while we define the function definition outside the class. Let's have a look towards the syntax. So when we define the function outside the class, so we first have to define the return type, then the class name, then the scope resolution operator, and then the function name and parameter list. And after that, in the parenthesis, curly braces, we define the body. As you can see, we define the return type, that is int, then the class name, that was the cube, and then the scope resolution operator, and then the function, which we define in the function declaration. And after that, there is the body. So when we define the function inside the class, we have discussed the functions that we define inside the class in very detail in the previous lecture. So for a quick recap, we can say that a member function of a class is a function that has its definition or its prototype within the class definition, like any other variable. It operates on any object of the class of which it is a member and has access to all the members of a class of that variable. As you can see that we define the class cube, then public access specifier, and then we define the data member, and here we define the function along with its definition. We define the body too inside the class. So this function can access all the elements of the class directly, and we can access this function through the object of the class. Let's take another example of function inside the class. So here we define the class first program, and we define the access specifier public, and then we define the data member as string subject name. And then we define a member function inside the class, and we simply prints the subject name. And in the main function, we created object of the class first program, and then we called with the object the function that we define inside the class. Before calling it, we initialize the variable with the C++ value, that object1 dot subject name, that we assign the C++ to this variable that we define inside the public access specifier. And then we call the function, and that returns the value of C++. As you can see that this is the output. Subject name is C++. So this is all about the functions that we declare inside the class and outside the class. Next part of our today's lecture is access specifiers. As we have discussed many times that there are 3 access specifiers, we also call them as access modifiers. So the first one is public, then private, and then protected. A private member within a class denotes that only members of the same class have accessibility. The private members is inaccessible from outside the class. Means only the members of the class can access these members that we define under the private section. While the other members which defines outside the private sections cannot access the members of the private section. So the second access specifier is public. Public members are accessible from outside the class and we can only access them through the object, while we can access the private members through the getter and setter method as we have discussed in the previous lecture. While the third type is the protected access specifier. Protected access specifier is a middle stage between the private and public access. If member functions defined in a class are protected, they cannot be accessed from outside the class, but can be accessed from the derived classes. So derived classes and base classes concepts of inheritance, we will discuss it in the coming lectures soon, inshallah. So what type of access provide these access specifiers? Private. Class members declared as private can be used only by member functions and friend classes or functions of the class. No any other function or classes can access them. While the protected, class members declared as protected can be used by member functions and friends, classes or functions of the class. Additionally, they can be used by classes derived from the class. On the other hand, public, class member declared as public can be used by any function in the class. The next is, these all three circles define clearly that how much access these provides. So the public provides more accessibility as compared to the protected and the private data. So it accessible to outside the world. Inside you can access it, but you can also access it from the outside the class. While the protected accessible to derived classes, which is a concept of inheritance based classes. On the other hand, private data not accessible outside. It can only access inside the class, not outside the class. So let's sum up it with a review. So the private members, here are three different columns: within the same class, in derived class, or outside the class. Private members can access within the same class? Yes. Can access in derived class? No. Can we access the private members outside the class? No. While on the other hand, protected members within the same class access? Yes. In derived classes? Yes. Obviously, the protected data members are specially designed for the inheritance. While in the outside the classes? No. While the public access specifiers within the same class, yes, we can access the public members. While in the derived classes, obviously because these are publics, and outside the classes, yes, we can access it from anywhere in the derived classes or outside the class or inside the class. So the private members have no direct access. Protected members have no direct access, while the public members have direct access. So access control specifiers, private, protected, and public, accessible to on classes members? Yes, all three are accessible to on class members, but the private are not accessible to object of a class. Protected is not acceptable to the object of a class, and public, which is accessible to the object of a class. Access modifiers, which are the public, private, and protective, can be accessible on class? Yes, we can access all three access specifiers, the members of under these access specifiers in the on class. But in the derived classes, we can access the public members, but we cannot access the private members in the derived classes. We have to use the getter and setter method. While in the protected classes, which is specially designed for the derived classes, we can use the protected members and we can access them. Yes, we can do that. While in the main function, public section members can be accessed through the object, while the private cannot be accessed in the main, but we have to define the call through the get method, and is protected also. We cannot access them in the main. We have to access them through the derived classes. This is all about the today's lecture. Hopefully you got all the important concepts of the C++. If you have any query related to these concepts, please comment. Thank you very much.